Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Nervous Chat. Tonight, I've got two absolutely lovely guests. They are a husband and wife vlogging team who I've been aware of for a little while and followed for a while, but only more recently got to really talking to them and thought they would be excellent guests for the show. So without further ado, let me introduce to you Richard and Ellie from the Mediocre Travelblog. Good evening, guys.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. It's Monday, so I don't know how you do it on a Monday, to be honest, after work and everything. But we're doing all right. How about you?
I think this gets me through a Monday.
Yeah.
Knowing that I've got this to come to on a Monday night after a day at work,
yeah, true.
actually helps get through. I mean, I'm quite lucky. The job I do, I'm a private nanny. But for the first 2 hours of my day, I don't start till 1 o'clock in the afternoon. But for the first 2 hours, I don't have any children because they're at school. Yeah. So I do prep stuff, but that allows me to watch vlogs while I'm doing it, and to make any notes for the show, etc., finishing touches, that kind of thing. So it's quite a nice thing in that respect to be able to do those things. Welcome everybody in the live comments. We've got Dave's Adventures in. We've got Rand's Adventures. Coaster Chickens here tonight. Hi James. Coaster Tog. Hi Sam. I think Steve's here from Thrills and Food. We've got Nick from Walking with the Woods. Cool. We've got quite a collection tonight, guys, already. I tend to have a core sort of. No, absolutely. Everybody seemed quite keen to watch tonight and get to hear what you guys had to say, which is which is always nice to hear. Don't worry. They're all regular viewers and they're all lovely people. I've met every single person bar one that's in the live chat so far tonight. All lovely people. So please don't worry. Obviously, we do have a section where I throw questioning open to members of the live chat. Yeah. So but they're kind. They're kind people. They won't ask you anything that makes you feel uncomfortable. They save that for me. So I guess the first question I've got for you guys is, how did you come up with the name, the Mediocre Travelblog? Was it a bit of tongue in cheek?
Yeah,
I think that was Ellie's idea. It was just a case of we kept going on these different trips and stuff like that, and we didn't see ourselves as anything special, but we just kept going on to different places, and it just sort of became a thing, really, that we didn't take ourselves too seriously.
Yeah, I think we just wanted to on the side of sarcasm as well, because we like a bit of dry humour. So yeah, it just popped out of nowhere. What was it 2017? We came up with the name.
Yeah.
And then it's been like that ever since. We sort of flitted in and out of Instagram and blogging and that, but didn't really go. We didn't do our first vlog until 2021, Alton Towers, wasn't it? Like a proper one.
Yeah. So we did a few videos beforehand, just sort of things, really. Not really talking. So we just did a couple just music video, like music over top of our days out and that. And to be honest, we started off with just wanting to record it for our own memories, really.
Yeah.
And I think we still keep that in that. We do other things, just like we go to different countries. We do theme parks as well. So stuff like we really find interesting for us. Really.
Yeah. And like you can probably relate, like it took a while to build up the courage to actually talk on a vlog, and it's still really hard as well. Like the amount of retakes we do sometimes where we mess up our words and things like that. But I think, just trying to keep it natural, I guess. Just trying to be a couple of idiots, I suppose. And waffling.
Do you know what? There's a lovely warmth about you guys that I absolutely love. The way you interact with each other is great. You've got that kind of obviously couples play off each other, and it's nice that you got that, because it does work. You've obviously both got shared and separate interests, which is healthy in any relationship. We all know that, but it comes through nicely in your vlogs.
Thank you.
Kind of already touched on something I was going to ask you, which was I was going through your back catalogue of videos.
Yeah.
I saw your very first vlog, which was the one from Chilton, which is just a video set to music.
Yeah.
Yes.
And when I first watched it, I thought, oh, okay, not what I was expecting.
Yeah.
But okay. And then I watched it again, and I thought, actually, this is really, really enjoyable, because I'm not listening to somebody talking. I'm not listening to somebody telling me about the roller coasters. I'm just being gently led through the park with this nice music. And I thought, that's really, really lovely. So was that intentional, or was it because you didn't feel brave enough to talk in vlogs at that point?
I think it's a bit of both, to be fair. That one, we didn't even have the full equipment, and then we didn't have the microphone, or we just had a camera. So we wanted to film our day out and sort of take people through our day on how we were getting through it, really. So,
and I think as well, when we started watching, like, we started becoming fans of YouTube and vlogging, like, because I used to be a bit obsessed with like Florida vloggers, and sometimes I just wanted to watch POVs or walkthroughs around the parks without the chat. Like, sometimes I just wanted to see, like, I have to know where I'm going. So sometimes that's why we did it, and I think that's what sort of prompted us to do it for Pleasanton as well, wasn't it?
I think the thing is that you don't have to pay full attention to it. You can sort of have it on in the background. You can do other things, and you can still refer back to it. But when you have sometimes your vlogs, like, you miss something, so you don't know what's gone on. So I think that's a good part of what we thought of as well.
Yeah, as I said, for me it worked really lovely, because for that exact reason, I could watch it without having to watch it. It was just it was lovely. As I said, once I'd sort of understood the concept, I thought, this is great. And then you did a couple of videos like that, didn't you? I think I saw there was Chesington, and then there was a couple of other ones which were again equally lovely. Just like, as I say, just being led through, the park or attraction with just that gentle music was just, and a good choice of music. I thought it was it wasn't elevator music. It was it was nice, and it was and it went with what I was seeing, which was lovely. And then, of course, I think it was Alton Towers. Was it Alton Towers Mardi Gras? I think you first started to talk in your vlogs, wasn't it?
Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, that was so scary. Like, I think we filmed the intro at least 3 or 4 times, I think. And we were like, we're just gonna have to accept it and keep moving on. We just have got to push through. It was scary.
Oddly enough, that we're quite nervous people anyway, just talking to anyone. So we found it easier talking to the camera than talking to people, because we can sort of restart if we wanted to. Whereas when you're talking to other people, you can't really have that initial impression again. It's sort of, it's already going. You can't continue. You can't stop it and start it. So I think that's what makes it easier for us, is that we can just keep going, retaking if we need to.
Yeah, I think that was what's scary, like, about you inviting us on as well. When I told Richard was like, "What?" Because obviously it's live, so there's no takesy backsies, so you're gonna see our true awkward selves. But it's fine. We're all right.
I can totally empathize with you. When I first started, obviously I was just vlogging, and like you say, I was comfortable just because I was just talking to a camera. I didn't see it as I was talking to anybody, because once it's uploaded, that's it. It's gone as far as I'm concerned. It's on YouTube. If people watch it, they watch it. That's great and fantastic. If they don't watch it, okay. But it's a memory that I've recorded of my day, and and that kind of thing. And then I appeared on a live chat show, and I was absolutely terrified. Probably not dissimilar to how you guys were feeling about coming on here today. And but I did it because it was part of my journey of tackling my anxiety. That was the next big thing, was to be live on a camera. I think I touched on Instagram lives a little bit, but hadn't really done an awful lot. And I did that, and I enjoyed it. And I thought, do you know what? I'd quite like to do that one day myself. And then as my confidence sort of grew, I then went, well, the next step for me is to launch a live show of my own, you know, and every single show, I'm not going to lie, I'm anxious about every single one. So you are nervous about coming on my show. I'm nervous every Monday night, every single Monday night at 5 to 8. I'm sat here almost shaking, going, right, here we go again. But the adrenaline rush afterwards, and getting to know the people that I've got to know has made it absolutely worthwhile. So, you know, but you say about filming so many takes and things, your vlogs don't come across like they've been done that way, if that makes sense. They look very natural. You know, and I think that's definitely one of the appeals for me, is that it's a very natural sort of, you know, flowing, this is our day, this is what happened, you know, which I think you know, it's is a lovely way of doing it. And that's what when I first started vlogging, I was trying to make the perfect vlog, because that's what I thought I had to do. You know, I'd watched the big vlogging channels, you know, and I was like, right, that's what I've got to do. It's got to be like that, you know. And I was trying to do it, and I did the first 2 or 3 like that, and it actually was quite stressful. I was stressing because these were my family days out as well, and I was trying to just, you know, get this ride and that ride, and it just became stressful. So in the end, I gave up on that. Somebody said to me, just be you. Just do you. So I stopped all that, and now I just film the day, and it's enjoyable. It's far less stressful, you know, and but as I say, and now I do the lives, and I've got to say, I think I prefer doing this to vlogs. I think I said that on Monday. No, on Friday I did my live stream. I actually prefer doing this now. I think
they really suit you as well, like to see your journey and how you've, and a lot of the guys watching as well, to have followed each other on Instagram and see how people progress and that, because like what's really reassuring as well to have watched your content as well, is to know that there are others out there who sort of struggle with anxiety, struggle socially, and like you said, you want to do the perfect vlog, and it's just not realistic. And I think you compare yourself to like bigger channels and absolute perfection, and for someone who struggles with low self-esteem or anxiety, like that is not the one, because social media is soul crushing. But like we're sort of getting to that place now where we just don't really care, like, and the people that we've met so far like have just been so nice, and to watch people's channels grow, like just ordinary people, like I just think it's really nice, and it's really refreshing as well.
I think that's it. If you focus too much on other people's style, like the bigger vloggers, and you sort of don't come across as being genuine, like you lose the joy of it. Like you were saying, that you just want to go out there and have a good day. If you have enough content, or if you have good clips, then that's a bonus, but you want to enjoy yourself. You don't want to focus too much on taking so many shots to get the right shot, really.
Yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree. I look back now on those early vlogs of mine, and they're robotic. They're not me. And I sort of think, you know, who's that guy? And who's he trying to be? Because that's not me. And then I look at more recent vlogs where I'm taking the mick out of my eldest son, and we're playing off each other, and that's us. That's our family days out, you know. And you know, I know I've had my critics for my dad jokes that I like to put in my vlogs, but that's me.
No, don't go into the dad
jokes. Like on a day out. You know, I make those dad jokes because that's what I do. That's how our family days out go. Me cracking the bad jokes, and everyone else just, you know, giving that sigh of, oh God, not again, you know. And I love it. I love that. That reaction is absolutely fantastic. Got our first question come in from Jess and Ali Adventures. Who have been your favorite vloggers that you've met doing YouTube? So I'm guessing that you've met in person, they mean.
Yeah, so Jess and Ali are saying that because they're naughty, because we have met them. I was very proud to be Ali's maid of honor. So we met through YouTube, and you know, started a
Oh,
great friendship. It's been lovely. But we've met also Johnson's Adventures. We've also met the Rees
yep.
Family Adventures. We've met a good handful of people, and actually with Stacey and Craig from the Rees Family Adventures, and also Nat and Rob from Johnson's, we were at Oktoberfest in September. Like, don't get me wrong, like me and Richard were very, very drunk, but it was such a good day. Like, and it was like, I hope to I hope we get more days like that where we can meet people, because we're very fickle on social media. We're not maybe as social as we should be, but if we were to meet someone in person, then we would put that effort in and actually have like fruitful conversations, as opposed to, hello, you're right, on Instagram. But yeah.
That Jess and Ali story, I think that's absolutely beautiful. And again, like you guys, I've, through doing YouTube and Instagram, I've met 4 of my best ever friends that I've ever had. You know, and they were the guys that were in last week's show.
Yeah.
And I would never have met them had I not done YouTube and all this kind of thing. And now I've met them, and they are, you know, they are my best friends. I talk to them literally every single day. You know, I'm usually the first one up in the morning, so I whack in the first good morning of the day. Sometimes Steve, if he's on nights, he's the first one in. But you know, and then just throughout the day, we chat about various things that we've seen on Instagram, things that we've seen on YouTube, and you know, and it's just a constant, you know, a constant conversation of, you know, of what's our day really, and that's on a daily basis. And I couldn't imagine in life any other way now. You know, and if I'm having a bad day, I know that I can say to the guys, I can just put a message in the group going, oh, do you know what, I'm having a really bad day today, and this is what's going on, and they'll say something that will pick me up.
Yeah.
You know, they won't pay lip service, but they'll say something that will pick me up and help me, and you know, and it's great. And I would never met these people other than through Instagram and YouTube. So it's lovely that other people have got that too. You know, I think that's absolutely fantastic. So so that's great. And of course, I'm now aware that you guys actually only live just up the road from me. Really.
No, not far at all.
So I'm fully hoping that we can meet up as well, because I'd absolutely love to meet you in person.
Yeah.
Because I as I say, I've just having watched your vlogs, I'm like, these look like people that I'd like to know. You know, and obviously tonight will either confirm or rubbish that for me. But I can tell you now, you are who you are in your vlogs. So I can tell you that absolutely I'd love to meet you, and you know, and I think it would be lovely, and maybe we can arrange that at some point, because as I say,
absolutely, I'd love that.
Absolutely great. Right, now what else was I going to ask you about? Okay, Lego building. Something else I spotted in your little back catalogue there. Are you Lego people, or is it just a Spider-Man thing?
No, it's this. We're Lego people. Like, you probably can't even see, but Richard, there's a shelf of Lego up there. We've got Lego all around the room, basically. Okay. I mean, it's a you thing mostly, isn't it? I like looking at it, but I can't be bothered to build it.
Yeah, I've always loved Lego, and never when I was a kid be able to afford it. So when I'm an adult, I can buy all these things. So I'm just buying all this stuff, but now Ellie's getting annoyed because we're running out of space and I've got too much Lego.
It's because you like the big sets. Where are we gonna put it?
I think that's Lego's fault for bringing them out and making me want it.
It is Lego's fault.
I agree, but mine, as you might have seen, I did a recent, just really 1-minute video of run through of my Harry Potter Lego collection, and there's 27 sets there now, and I blame Lego, like you, because they keep bringing out new sets, and I blame my daughter. My daughter's the Harry Potter fan of the house.
Okay.
She got the first set, and the very first set she ever had was the Quidditch match one. And then she got the Lego Harry Potter train, and then it sort of infected me, because I've always loved Lego like you, but never found a collection that I really wanted to collect. I like Harry Potter, and it just and it's now got out of control. I've run out of room. I can't find any more room for any more sets, so I'm now having to, each time I get a new set, I'm having to sacrifice a set and put that one away. I know, and I feel awful doing it. I'm almost teary doing it, but it's until I either get a bigger house or kick the kids out, which sadly isn't going to be for at least another 16 years for the youngest. I'm struggling for that space, but and then of course my wife bought me for Christmas the wonderful Smiler Lego kit.
That is awesome. I've seen that.
Yeah, I've completed it, but I'm not going to show it. I'm not going to show it because what I'm going to do, I've decided, is I'm going to take it apart, and I'm going to film the construction as a video for YouTube, because a few people have said that they'd be quite interested in that, and I can also let out that the guy that makes the instructions for those sets is going to be a guest on the show in the near future.
Wow. Oh, we're gonna have to keep
he's Holland based.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to get European coaster enthusiasts into the studio for a while, because I've had guys from across the pond, and I just, I thought it'd be lovely to get, somebody from Germany or Holland or any of those countries where they've got great theme parks, and the two things just sort of fell into place. He's based in Holland, so obviously Efteling and that kind of thing, and he builds these amazing Lego sets.
Oh, that's awesome.
So he is an upcoming guest, so keep your eyes open for that one. That's going to be a good show, I think. I'm hoping that his English is better than my Dutch, because I don't speak Dutch. It's quite simple. So it could be a very silent show. We'll see. We'll muddle through somehow.
Google Translate.
Absolutely, yeah. I've used that many times. Where I work, they took in some Ukrainian refugees, and with no English, basically, and literally every conversation was via Google Translate. So I'm quite used to using it now. So the pronunciation might be a bit off, but we'll see. We'll muddle somehow.
I'm sure it's going to be fine.
Coaster Chicken would like to know what your dogs are called, because Jess and Ali have mentioned your dogs already.
Of course they have.
They're in the
No, they're not in the room because they're too noisy. It's Herbie and George, and they're Jugs, so they're pugs crossed with Jack Russell, and they're lovely and snorty and farty and naughty and nice and noisy. They're just great. They're my babies.
Yeah, they're a bit loud, but we couldn't trust them for being quiet, so we had to put them to the next room.
Yeah. So they can watch us later.
That'd be great. Yeah, all views are appreciated. Obviously, Coaster Chicken would like to know, what's your favourite Lego set?
That is a hard one. I think I'm looking to see which ones I got. So I think my favourite one is the you probably see it just above me there.
His feet.
Yeah, so it's the Lego Bowser from Super Mario. So I thought that was a really cool one.
Okay.
When they announced it, I had to get it because it's like a big set, and those are the ones I prefer getting, like the bigger sets, because it takes me a long time to make them, and that sort of you see it sort of developing really.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I tend to avoid buying the smaller Harry Potter sets because they're too quick to make. I like something I can really get my teeth into. It's going to take me, a day or two, or whatever, So I totally I'm with you on that one. I do like the bigger sets.
You just saw
Nick from Walking in the Woods has just said that Claire sold his Disney castle. I'm sure that's grounds for divorce.
I'd love if it's the big one. I mean, she should be sleeping in the garden forever. How could you do that?
Surely that comes under unreasonable behaviour in a divorce reason.
Exactly.
I think
it's a breach in T's and C's.
Yeah,
totally agree with that.
Absolutely is. Claire, we love you. If you're watching, we do love you. We're only messing. I don't know if you know Walking with the Woods. They run a quiz show over on their Walking with the Woods channel. Yeah, and they do great quizzes, absolutely fantastic quizzes. They're fully interactive, which makes it, you know, even more interesting. It's not just you know, they ask questions and you sort of write it down or put it. It's fully interactive using an app that I'd never an app that I hadn't heard of before, but it works brilliantly, and I love their quizzes. And if you're not doing anything tomorrow night, they've got one tomorrow night, which is their quiz of 2022.
Oh, we'll have to tune in then.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. They're great quizzes. Nick's a great host. And you know, and I'll be there tomorrow night. My good lady wife will be there. Coaster Chicken will probably be in the house. The Coaster Capturers tend to be in. You know, it's very popular. It's competitive but friendly competitive, if you know what I mean. And it's it is really nice to do that. So if you're free tomorrow night,
yeah,
there for Nick and his Walking with the Woods quiz of 2022.
Oh yeah, we'll tune in
because that's what I'll be doing tomorrow. Brilliant. I'm just running through the live chat now because it always runs away with me. And I find, because I'm talking and trying to read and talk, and yeah, it's we're still talking about here we go. I've got a question, another question from Jess and Ali. Are they just come into the live chat just to quiz you and make you feel uncomfortable, or
I think so, yeah.
Your favourite Disney ride?
I think that changed this year.
I think, I'm going to say two. You might have the same ones as me. So I'd say Guardians of the Galaxy and Tower of Terror, because Tower of Terror is just amazing. Like the theming, everything about it just makes me so happy, and I love it so much. Would you agree? I
agree. And if we're talking favourite ride, I have to say Guardians of the Galaxy slightly.
It's amazing.
Because just going on that ride, it's just something we'd never experienced before, and it's so visually just amazing.
And because we'd only done it just recently, obviously it opened this year and we were in Florida September. We'd never done it before, and I was really anxious that I wasn't going to fit in it. Like, Disney is pretty fatty friendly anyway, but because it was a new ride, I was like, oh, okay, like, here we go. And because Richard got me into Marvel, and we both love Guardians of the Galaxy, so it's one of those rides that we really wanted to go on, and to have like the bar clamp in and to go, like, it was so good. Like, and I started like crying after. It was just, loved it. It was brilliant.
That's such a lovely story. I'm going to tear up. You're going to have to stop this. I'm going to tear up. I love those kind of human stories. Do you know what I mean? Of that kind of thing. And it's, but I know Guardians of the Galaxy is I've not seen a huge amount of the ride. I'm aware of the ride. Obviously, I've not been to any parks outside of the UK, so I'm totally dependent on vlogs from guys like yourself, Coaster Chicken, who's always, taunting me with Disney vlogs, and all that kind of thing, So we've got Hang Time Horror in this evening as well. Good evening, Kellen and Johnny. It's nice to see you. Hope you're well. Kaz from Kaz's Crafts and More would like to know, do you like your dark rides? And I'm guessing what she'd also like to know is, what's your favourite dark ride?
That is a good question, actually. Yeah, we do. I
think I'd have to say Jewel.
Jewel, what, UK? Yeah, I think so. We were really sad when Jewel closed because, again, like, I can't get on coasters at Alton Towers at the minute, but I'm trying very hard to. So the day will come. But so at the minute, we're just sort of stuck with the like non-big restraint rides. So Jewel was one of them, and so every time we went to Alton Towers, we always went on Jewel. So now when we go, like, we don't have that run. Well, I think there's a couple of other rides we can do, but that was the ride that we used to go on. So
I think we get competitive as well.
Oh my god, yeah.
I think what was it last season or the season before? We did a tally on who would win throughout the whole season, and we intended to continue it on, but I think we couldn't get on as many. So
I'm just gonna win anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Because we was gonna get a little trophy at the end, so to present the winner with the trophy of the dark rides.
That sounds awesome. I think you should do it, and I think you should video it.
Yeah, I think to be fair, next season.
Yeah, no,
it's fast approaching. So
I reckon you should do it. It would be one of those videos that's going to take you all season to make.
Yeah.
But what a video! I think I'd certainly be interested in that because I
do it then.
Obviously you guys have that competitive edge that myself and my wife have, and I know the coaster capturers have, and and where it's all friendly competition.
Yeah.
Although sometimes it can seem like it's not necessarily as friendly as it always possibly should be. Coaster Tog would like to know, what's your favorite park you've been to, and also Ellie, where did you get your Crocs?
If we're talking the Halloweeny ones, they were from Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World. As soon as I saw them, I was like, I've got to own you. And they were delightful, especially in the pouring rain. They were great. My favourite parks, I think non-UK, I think just because of the way it gives me like the proper fuzzies and the way it makes me feel is the Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World. And then UK, I'm going to go against the grain a bit, and you might agree, is Legoland.
Yeah.
I love Legoland. I know it's because I was watching you guys last week, and I know there's a lot of opinions on Legoland, but I think whilst I can't get on the thrill rides at the moment, Legoland is just silly and stupid and fun for us to go to, and I fit on everything. Like, I don't know how. Like, it's children's rides, but I do. So those are mine. What are yours?
I'd have to say Legoland with you on UK. I think for outside of UK, I'd say Universal Studios, Florida.
Or Islands of Adventure. It's got the Hulk.
This is true, but I'm classing it as one theme park. I can't pick between the two, so. But I think it adds it to me because I love Simpsons, and it's the Simpsons area. It's my favourite part there. The ride is silly, but it's something that I have to go on every time we go because I don't know, it's just so good for me.
I didn't know you like The Simpsons.
No, I know. I mean,
with a crusty t-shirt.
My crusty t-shirt.
I think we call that well-worn and vintage, isn't it?
Yes.
Coaster Chicken would like to know, did you do the Rise of the Resistance, and what did you think of it if you did?
Yes. Oh, it was amazing. It was so good. I don't know. It was just so immersive, and we actually were really lazy and paid for fast track like $30, but it was like our last day at the parks because we lost 2 days because of Mr. Ian the hurricane. It was just so different, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, I agree. It was so good, like the immersive, like different parts, different aspects of it. You're walking around, the carts and that, and it was so good. It's the storytelling of it, and like Ellie said, we couldn't not go on it, so we had to pay out to do it, really. So
there's something about Star Wars that literally makes people like geek out. Like I was never really into Star Wars till neither of us were, till we first went to Disney in 2016, and we was in Hollywood Studios, and they did the March of the First Order with the stormtroopers walking through the park, and then I don't know, from then we were like, whoa, like we just loved it, and so we've been converted. It's great.
Fair enough. Dave's asking about any European park visit plans for 2023.
Oh, I don't know. We're still trying to decide what to do because
we got
European parks.
Yeah, Future Ventura, isn't it?
Future Ventura.
Future Ventura.
Yeah, we're going to Salou. In June. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
We're going to do Future Ventura and Ferrari World, and I think they've got a water park as well because we actually love a water park. They are the next best thing for us, I think, in terms of like theme parks and all of that. So
no, I totally agree on that. I love the lazy days, but also be able to go on the slides.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we do it now. And then in the end of the year, we do it in Belgium. So you may go to
Plopsaland.
It's like Plopsaland is the mecca of enthusiasts at the moment, isn't it? It really is the holy grail. Everyone makes pilgrimages to Belgium just to get on Ride to Happiness.
But it's so close as well because we go to Bruges often, and it takes like, if we're including from like Milton Keynes to Calais, it takes like about 5 hours. We didn't realise Plopsaland is literally on the way to Bruges, so it's a bit of a no-brainer really. So I think it'd be nice to stop there, and I'd love to go to Efteling. I see so many vlogs on Efteling, and I like sort of, it's very fairy tale-y. It gives me like proper like an upmarket Black Gang shine. And I really, really want to go. So that's on my list as well.
Sounds good. Obviously, Coaster Chicken saying, what park do you think is the worst for fitting on rides when you're a larger person?
Alton Towers. Alton Towers, I think. Why? What were you going to say, Thorpe?
I think Thorpe is harder than Alton Towers.
I don't know though, because I've never been on the Smiler. Like, that is like my absolute goal. Like, I actually don't care about anything else. Like, I know Wicker Man is really hyped up, but the Smiler is really important for me to go on. I really want to go on it, and apparently their restraints are not as bad as, for example, Galactica. Awful. Like, even when I was slimmer, like, it was still like a squeeze. You said it was a bit of a squeeze for Wicker Man, didn't you?
Yeah.
Trouble is, it's been so long since we've been to Thorpe.
Well, that's it. I think personally, from past experience, I'd say Thorpe. But then Universal Studios is very tight on restrictions as well.
Yeah, Universal Studios was not that great. Although we got on the Hulk, and that's the thing. Some seats have extended seatbelt holders, and some don't. And it depends how, like, it's health and safety at the end of the day. So, like, I try not to let it upset me anymore, because it's in my gift to change that. So, I think Alton Towers, but who knows?
I think I mean, my wife is on the larger side, and I think she would agree with you that Alton Towers and Thorpe probably run a very close gauntlet on this one, because I mean, Colossus is just the most sizest roller coaster I've ever come across. I've seen people only slightly bigger than myself not fit on Colossus, and I think it's absolutely awful in this day and age, when we acknowledge that the average size of people is bigger, that you've got this roller coaster that is just absolutely awful for fitting on, and so you can't be larger, you can't be too tall on it, because otherwise you've got cramped leg room. So I think, but Alton Towers, Wicker Man, I know, can be a squeeze. As you say, Galactica is very much a squeeze, quite unforgiving. Nemesis has the bigger seats, doesn't it, on row 7, I think it is.
I think it used to be, unless it's changed, I think it used to be 4 and 5. They're double seat belts, but I'm talking like when I last went on, it was like over 10 years ago.
Or maybe it's Inferno that has it a bit further back. Maybe. But they have the double seat belt as well, which is great. But I think parks need to be aware of this a bit more going forward when they build new roller coasters. They're building rides that are quite exclusive, actually. And I don't think that that's right or fair to anybody. There was a great channel, I can't remember the two ladies. They used to go around literally all the theme parks, and one of them was certainly a bigger girl, and literally what they were doing was filming to see what rides they could get on. And I just thought that's a great idea to help people, on the larger side. But it shouldn't be necessary in this day and age. I think, in a modern world, it shouldn't be necessary. And maybe the parks need to start taking this on board a bit more, and looking at what changes they can make to make their rides a bit more inclusive.
Or at the very least, because that was something we've talked about vlogging a few times now, because I've looked for someone the same size as me to see if they fit, and there's definitely no pun intended, a gap in the market. And I've also seen that YouTube channel, but I can't remember their names. And it's only until like the last few months that I've become more accepting. Like, I am fat, but like I can still use that to my advantage, in the sense that I can make other people feel better about how they are. Like, so that's kind of how I want to go into this year. But I think a lot of rides need to bring back test seats, because of COVID. I know they took away the test seat for Smiler, I think. So there used to be one, I was reading on forums, and it got taken away. And I think at least to save people doing the walk of shame, at least bring those test seats in so you don't have to be embarrassed. Because in Disney, I didn't fit on. The only ride that I didn't fit on at Disney was Flight of Passage, but there was a test seat and the cast member was so kind and so polite about it and so discreet. I was fine with it. Like, oh yeah, I was disheartened because who isn't? But it was fine. Whereas you don't want to queue up for 2 hours and then get turned away. Like, I don't know. I think they need more test seats as a start.
Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree. It's one solution, isn't it? But as I say, I think ultimately that shouldn't be necessary. I think there's a need for acknowledging that not everybody is, size 12, size 14, and or slim on the slimmer side, or and that even there's ladies out there who are large chested, who also don't fit in those rides, because the rides are those overhead restraints. I know, because my wife's one of those people, and she really struggles because of that. Getting those restraints down over her chest is quite, is quite a struggle, and it makes her feel, a bit self-conscious and everything else. So, I think that's something that they definitely need to take on board and deal with, and find a positive solution. I agree. In the short term, getting those test seats back is absolutely crucial. Because, as you say, nobody wants to have to do that walk of shame. It's I've done the walk of shame enough times, not for that reason, but for purely out of cowardice. And people do look at you. Of course, they look at you and wonder why you're walking back up the queue, and and all those kind of things. So, it is definitely a thing. Have you been to Disney Paris?
We have, yeah. I can see Walking with the Woods as well. We've not done Flight Force. We really want to go to Avengers Campus, don't we? It was still under refurbishment when we went in 2021. But loved it. I loved Paris. Like, there was a couple of rides I couldn't get on. I didn't bother trying Crush's Coaster. I didn't get on, what was it? Space Mountain. But again, all the silly rides, and we got on Indiana Jones, and that was an absolute headbanger. But all the other rides was absolutely fine. If anything, you know what the worst thing is for a sort of a fat person is the turnstiles. They're really thin, and you have to go in sideways. Like with both of us, we're like, "What's this?"
Yeah, the turnstiles are smaller than the seats, which made no sense.
But yeah, we really like to go back. Avengers Campus is, I know it's very high on the list.
Very high, yeah. And I think it's similar sort of reason. We're waiting for to go California, but we don't want to go California because I know they're adding more to Avengers Campus there. So we're waiting for that gets released before we go there as well.
I know, it's forever waiting for. That's the trouble with these theme parks. They're because they're forever adding things, and especially overseas, in Orlando, it's a lot of money to go, and we just can't go that often because it's so expensive. So when they're building these new things, we have to wait a few years and let them finish building it and then go, because there's nothing worse than going and it's not open yet. But it's not so bad here because we have the luxury, and we're quite close to 3 of the theme parks. Legoland's only about an hour, Chessington's just over that, so we're quite lucky to just pop down to a park if we want to.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think I'm very lucky that I live no more than 40 minutes away from 3 theme parks. Sadly, one of those is Legoland, but I know you love Legoland. It's not a shared love, I can assure you. There was a time, back in the day when I couldn't get on anything more than Scorpion Express, that Legoland was, had an appeal, and it does have an appeal. I say I don't like Legoland. I love the theming of Legoland. I love Lego. But if I'm going to a theme park for rides, then I dislike Legoland because it doesn't hold anything for me. There's only so many times you can ride the dragon and go, "Oh, that tunnel's a bit close," and then that's it. From a theming perspective, and the Haunted House Monster Party, I
fantastic.
I can't rate that highly enough. It's that music when it gets in your head.
It's amazing.
And I love it. I absolutely love it.
You just need to say the name, and I can hear the music in my head now. And I'm just like,
yeah, absolutely, you can. And what a great choice of music that was. Whoever thought of that, what an absolute stroke of genius that was. So obviously, Hang Time Horror were asking about what you think, or what do you hope Duel at Alton Towers might turn into.
Ooh, I hope it's just like because it never used to be like a pew pew one, did it? It never used to be like a laser gun one. It would just be nice if they brought it back to like a sort of classic scary dark ride. Like I just think Alton Towers needs something like that because the thrills are great, but for people who are maybe not into the thrills, there's not much else unless you want to go into CBeebies or the Gangster Granny area. So I just think it needs sort of something in between that, and I think taking it back to its roots, a lot of OG Alton Towers fans will probably appreciate that as well. And I think a lot of newcomers will probably be like, oh, this is really cool. Because again, none of the other Merlin parks will have that in the UK. So why not take advantage of that?
Yeah, I agree. And I think putting the laser guns in was almost a cheap trick.
And they never work.
Right. No, they don't. You're right. They're the least reliable of all those kind of rides across the Merlin estate. They are the least reliable, and I just don't ever see that there's so much going on the rides that the laser guns for me aren't necessary. I often forget that I'm supposed to be shooting as I'm going around. I'm not a massive fan of Duel because of the cheap laser gunny sort of trickery going on with that. So actually, I'm quite excited going back to a proper sort of ghost train haunted house. That will hold appeal for me. And I think it's when all the rumors were rife about Hex never reopening, I said, wouldn't it be great if they could take the story from Hex and fit that into Duel?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
And make that the ghost train sort of story. I mean, how great would that be? Obviously, Hex is reopened now, and that's, and that's great. So that's obviously not going to be happening. But yeah, that was sort of an idea I had at one point, was why not combine the two, and really make it a proper legend telling ghost train, if you like. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Obviously, we've seen a lot of stuff coming out now about, and I think the plans to me are appealing. And I will enjoy going to do it, and I am going to be there on opening day this year.
Yeah.
So I'm quite excited to get in and get a first ride on that, and see what it's like. I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, I think we are too. Right?
The ultimate question, Nick, in Walking with the Whips here: is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
No, never watched it. It's not a Christmas movie.
Can you have a input if you've never watched it, though?
Have you seen it?
I've seen it, yeah.
Is it a Christmas movie?
It's one of those movies that's based around Christmas, isn't it? I wouldn't class it as a traditional Christmas movie. No.
Yeah. So, you look like you
I'm
disagree.
with you on that one. I don't.
Oh, okay. You paused for a little.
I think that just because a film is based at Christmas, it doesn't make it a Christmas movie. Equally, there are films that aren't based at Christmas time that give that warm Christmas feel.
Yeah.
So I don't think it is. I'm not sold on the Christmas movie Die Hard bit. There's far too much bloodshed and shooting. Although I did go and watch that Violent Night.
I like the look of that. Was it good?
Oh, it was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I cannot rate it enough. I think, go and see it, because if, like me, you thought it was going to be one way, I was very surprised that actually I was completely wrong about the kind of film it was going to be. It was going to be. I was very pleasantly surprised, and and absolutely loved it. So I definitely recommend going to see that. That's it. Thank you, Sam, Coaster Tog. Steph and Phoebe.
Yes, as soon as I saw that name pop up, I recognised it.
Yeah, yeah. Because I remember now. That's it. Because I do speak to them periodically, and I remember they've stopped doing those videos now because sadly they were receiving some online bullying over it from
That's
people. I
awful.
remember, but which was awful, absolutely. And I remember at the time doing an Instagram live saying that it was absolutely awful and totally unacceptable, and giving them my support because that's just absolutely horrible. But yeah, Steph and Phoebe, lovely, lovely ladies, and yeah, we're doing a great service as far as I could see to people, but so. Oh, Oscar's Airtime have joined us, which is lovely. I don't know if you know them. If you don't know them, go and check them out. Em is mum, and Oscar is their young son. Absolutely lovely people. I've met them once now, and they're absolutely fantastic. I tell you what, this live chat tonight is going absolutely mental. I apologise because I'm trying to keep up.
Yes,
I'm literally looking for question marks. As I'm going through now, because obviously everybody reacts to what you guys are saying or what I'm saying, which is great. But the one thing I've got to talk about actually, because I can't see any more questions, so I'm going to talk about this because I wanted to talk about it. Date night at Gullivers.
Yeah.
Now,
it was great.
obviously, it wasn't quite the vlog that I went in expecting.
No.
Obviously, I saw Date Night at Gullivers, and in my head, I had this really random idea that for some reason, Gullivers had done this thing where they've set out a load of tables and a waiting service or some kind of romantic evening thing, and I wouldn't put it past them because they do some random stuff in Gullivers. Let's face it. Obviously, that, and then obviously the vlog was the lights that they had there, which was along a similar theme to Lupia at Alton Towers, which seems to be very, that kind of Christmas event seems to be very 2022, doesn't it? There's been quite a lot of those kind of light-based Christmas events, which but it did look absolutely lovely, if not a little disjointed, I felt.
Yeah, so it was around the farm park, so not actual Gulliver's Land, but the adjoining park. It did sort of branch into Gulliver's campsite a little bit, but it was mostly in the farm and dinosaur park. So you walk around the dinosaurs, and then you get some little lights, and then you get some light up dinosaurs. I love the light up dinosaurs. They're really good.
I thought they were the best part of the light up dinosaurs.
You could have just watched the dinosaurs and left.
I could tell.
And then there was it was like a period of time without any lights whatsoever. And then as you go into like the farm bit of the park, then there were lights. So yeah, it was definitely like sort of stop-starty. But what I actually liked about it, it was really accessible because it was raining as well. And I was like, oh, we're going to be trudging through mud. Like but it was all paved. It was all like through, because it was through the park, it was all paved.
Yeah.
My only criticism would be is there was a section when no lights were working, and we're
I saw that. And I must admit, when I saw that, the thought that went through my head was, and that's a spectacular return to form for Gullivers.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Gullivers has always needed a lick of paint. I mean, I used to work there as well, and I used to love working there.
Okay.
Like, it was great fun. But yeah, it's always I've grown up. I mean, you've never actually been to the theme park, have you?
No, that was the first time I even went into that sort of area.
Yeah. My childhood revolved around Gulliver's Land. So it definitely does need a lick of paint. And every time they add something new, everything else then just looks rough. So like they can't really win. And like some of the dinosaurs are like limbs missing and things like that. So it's quite funny.
I must admit, I went there summer last year for the first time ever. And was a little taken aback by their somewhat slapdash attitude to health and safety.
Yeah.
The fact that rides were obviously physically swaying. That all the roller coasters were controlled by portable, like trolleys almost. The controls were on trolleys that they just sort of wheeled in and out of huts as and when it rained or the sun shone. And I mean, it was a great filming opportunity because, you know, you could just film on anything. They just didn't care. People had their phones out everywhere, you know. There was nobody seemed to care. But I was a little concerned about the health and safety side of things.
It's a bit of a fever dream there. It's a bit strange.
But as parks go, I mean, you know, it was a nice visit. We enjoyed it. You know, and that what's the name of that ride, that totally unexpected ride that I discovered?
I don't know.
It spins and goes over.
Oh gosh,
Dragon something it's called. Dragon Siege.
Oh, I've not heard. It must be relatively new. I'm not familiar with that.
I think it is quite new, and it's towards, I want to say, the back sort of area of the park, and it was the most random ride to find in a park that was obviously aimed at younger children.
Yeah.
To then go and find this ride that was quite a thrill ride. I'm not going to lie. There was you know, adults screaming on this thing, it was very random. Just such a randomly placed ride. I just couldn't really understand why it was there. But as you say, the lighting was did look very pretty,
nice.
and I really liked. You focused on it, and I thought it was a great idea, was that carcass that they had.
Yes.
Like you're walking through a dinosaur's rib cage.
Yeah.
And I just thought that's really clever, actually. I really like that.
Yeah, as well.
I think you know, it was a nice touch, but as I say, it just seemed a little bit, I don't know, 1 minute there's insects, and then there's dinosaurs, and then there's this and that, and I was just kind of like, okay, this is all a bit just a little bit random. Did they get these as a job lot from somewhere? But it was nice to see them, because I wouldn't necessarily associate Gullivers with Christmas or Christmas events. So it was quite nice to see that they are actually doing something, and doing quite well with it. It looked quite a professional job. I think, as you say, other than the disappointing lights in that one section, but yeah, it was nice to see that they're at least making some sort of effort, shall we say. The other one, of course, that I want to talk about is, and it's a visit you made to somewhere that people probably don't know about unless they're close by, is of course Paradise Wildlife Park. Now, I've been there many times. I've never vlogged from there because I haven't been back there since I've been a vlogger.
Oh, really?
Quite random.
Yeah.
But I actually really like Paradise, and it seemed like the event that they put on was it's like almost like an after hours thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was great, and I think they did it last summer as well. And
they did.
You got an email, didn't you? I think we only paid £15 a head, and then Richard got an email. Was it like offering free tickets or something?
Yeah, so free tickets per person, so free ticket per person. So we ended up taking my brother and his partner. So I ended up getting like 4 tickets for £30 in the end. Yeah. Like Ellie said, it was a really good event because it was nighttime. You got to see the area like in a different sort of light, really. So you got to see some animals you might not even seen during daytime, and it was definitely a good experience. So definitely worth go and visit if they do it again this year. Yeah,
it's one of those zoos that I think is really good value for money, because we've been a few times as well. And yeah, it's definitely a really good event, and there's just something really nice about even theme parks being there at night. Apart from the rain, it rained a lot, but there was a lot of shelter, and there was like street food, and we had Pims, and we all had a drink and that, and they set like loads of like Instagrammable places around the park, and it was really chill, and it was really nice. I'd definitely do it again as well, wouldn't you?
Yeah, that's what I say. I think if they do it again this year, I think we definitely would experience it again.
So you need to get yourself over there, because it is good.
As I say, I've been to Paradise quite a few times, and I think most recently was last summer actually. But I went with the nanny children that I look after. Okay. So obviously I don't vlog when I'm out with them for obvious reasons. It's safeguarding, etc. And I think I saw the event advertised and thought then, oh, that looks like it could be quite good.
Yeah.
I wonder what it'd be like, and then obviously, and then saw your vlog about it and thought, oh, actually, it does look like it's quite good. Maybe if they do it this year, I might have a look at that, because, I've seen the after hours zoo tours for London Zoo and Whipsnade, and they're ridiculously expensive. And I think it's it prices itself certainly out of my pocket. But that one certainly seemed to be very good value for money. And and as you say, some animals prefer to come out at night. So it would be lovely to go and see some of the more shy animals coming out. And the music, the guy, the very first guy that you come into, who's playing the acoustic set,
that's really good.
That seemed really, really good. And I just thought, that this is brilliant. How did you get a copyright claim on that, out of interest? Because I know that if I'd have filmed that guy with that song that he was playing, I can't remember what it was now, I'd have had a copyright claim from YouTube on that.
No. So we have found on if it's someone performing the song, it doesn't get filmed up. If it's a pre-recorded song, it will get picked up, and I think it's down to YouTube and their catalog. So if it's in their catalog, it'll flag up as copyrighted. So I think a lot of our videos where we have people performing or the live shows and that, if it's them singing themselves, it doesn't flag up.
The enigma that is YouTube.
Okay.
It's so hard to navigate, isn't it?
Yeah.
Did we upload something? Oh no, sorry, carry on.
I was just going to say, Chessington used so much copyrighted music.
Yes. Oh gosh.
In their shows stuff, that I know that there's just no point even trying to include anything musical from there now, because it's just going to get copyright claimed. Bang, bang, bang. It's not a big deal. I'm not a monetized channel, so I suppose it's not the end of the end of the world. But it's frustrating, and it kind of, I don't know. I feel like it sort of taints the channel when I get that copyright claim appear a little bit, because I don't want to upset anybody. I don't like upsetting people. So to think that I've upset somebody by using their copyrighted music, I just say, oh no, I don't want to do that. So I've kind of shied away a little bit now from filming anything musical there, which is or one way I got round it once was by breaking up a show into sort of 30-second bursts. That's and then slicing things in between it. But that was a mammoth task on a 20-minute stage show, to break it down into 30-second bursts was quite effort. And I just thought, I'm not going to do that again. I'm really not, But yeah, so other than obviously your Portaventura visit you've got coming up this year, where are you going to be opening weekend? This seems to be the question everybody's asking at the moment. Where's everybody going to be opening weekend?
I think we're gearing towards Alton Towers simply because we're pass holders. And you've actually never been to Blackpool, have you?
No, so I think that has to be definitely on the list this year.
Yeah.
But I think with Ellie, I think it would be Alton Towers, just because it's one of our favourite parks as well. And it's, I don't know, I think we're going to enjoy it.
I think, and I'm waiting patiently. I was telling Richard I tell him about it all the time and how good it was. I mean, it's been about 10 years since I've been on it, but I'm waiting patiently for Valhalla to reopen, because I keep saying how good it was. It was just awesome, and I'm really excited to see what they do with it. So I think we would gravitate towards Blackpool once that opens, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I think I want to go when there's the big things are reopened again to get the full experience ready.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I did Blackpool for the first time October last year, and unfortunately the big one was closed because it was it was a very windy day. Revolution was down. Obviously no Valhalla, but it was a great park. I really enjoyed it, and I met some people for the first time when we went there, and got to hang out with some friends as well, which always makes a park day great. But if you are going to come to Alton Towers, actually, that's great because I'm going to be at Alton Towers on the 18th
Yeah.
opening day. Quite a few of the guys who were in my last show are going to be there too. And yeah, there's quite a few people aiming to be there, so it'd be a great opportunity to meet a few people, because I think there's going to be a lot of people there, and I think it could be a great day.
I think so too, because we were talking about that, and especially after watching last week's video, we hadn't decided whether to go anywhere on opening day, but it sort of prompted us to do that because we want to meet people as well, and we want to get outside of our comfort zones. So it would just be really nice to see people. So yeah, we're gravitating towards Alton Towers on the 18th, so it should be good. But we are after Prague next week.
Oh, nice. So
that should be nice.
Yeah, but well, obviously we'll we'll chat and we'll have to arrange a meetup. Because as I say, I'm going to be there with my family. Coaster Tog's going to be there. Coaster Chicken's going to be there. The Coaster Capturers are going to be there. There's quite a few of us, and it would be lovely to meet you guys in person. And really sort of, as you say, it's nice to meet people. I've met a few people this year and made some great friends. So I want to continue that next year. Because social anxiety is one of the issues, although it may not always seem like it. I do have social anxieties. Sometimes so I'm pushing myself constantly at the moment to just get out there and do these things, and and having that theme park shared interest helps. It really does, because it's the icebreaker, isn't it? We're all there for the same reason. We love these machines. And that can be a great icebreaker. It certainly can. Well, guys, we've been live for over an hour now.
Wow, that's flown by.
It has, hasn't it? Absolutely has. And I always say that's a great sign, that when it just goes like that and you just don't even realize. It's been lovely talking to you. And as I say, I'm now even more excited about the 18th, because I'd already decided today that I'd love to meet you guys. And now that that's a possibility, it will be absolutely great. And that you guys will get to meet some of the others as well, which would be absolutely lovely. Having that big meetup. So that's absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on the show tonight.
No, thank you for having us.
I've absolutely loved talking to you, and it's been my pleasure to have you. It really has. It's been lovely, and I've really, really enjoyed it. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Go and enjoy the rest of your evening, and we will chat soon via the phenomenon that is Instagram. So take care, and I'll see you guys soon. And there we go, Ellie and Richard, the Mediocre Travel Blog. If you don't already subscribe and follow them on Instagram and YouTube, please check them out. The links are in the description. They're absolute people, as you've seen tonight. So go and check out their vlogs. What a show. Next week, I'm welcoming back, much to my maybe peril, is what I'll say, Jamie from Danny and Jamie Vlogs. I had such fun talking to him last time that I just wanted to get him back. So he is next week's guest. You won't want to miss that. I don't know what surprises he'll have in store, but if last time was anything to go by, he is full of tricks, and absolutely love Jamie to bits, and he just has me in tears all the time, and I'm sure he will you too. So please tune in next week. That's Jamie from Danny and Jamie Vlogs. Until then, thank you everybody for watching, and those of you that are watching the recording, it's great, and it would be lovely to see you live in the live chat next time. As I said earlier on, don't forget, tomorrow night is Walking with the Woods quiz of 2022. I'll be there, and so will loads of other people from the theme park community. So please, please, please come and join in. It's a fun quiz. We all have a good laugh, and it's a great way to spend a Tuesday evening, or whatever evening that they do. Tuesday's a new one for them, but I think it's it's, for me, it's great. It's something to do on a Tuesday evening, and that's a lot of fun. So on that note, I will say good night from me. Thank you all, and I look forward to see you all Monday next week at 8 p.m. Until then, take care for now.